The Desperate Deal. The December snow fell softly outside Orion Industries' glass tower as Luna Hayes pushed her cleaning cart down the executive floor's empty corridor. At 3 a.m., the building belonged to her and the night security guard, which was exactly how she preferred it. Invisibility had become her survival strategy since her PhD funding had evaporated 6 months ago, forcing her to abandon her astrophysics research and take whatever work she could find. At 25, Luna hadn't imagined she'd be scrubbing toilets in the very building where cutting-edge space technology was developed. Her honey-blonde hair was pulled into a messy ponytail, and her oversized gray uniform hid the curves she'd never felt particularly confident about. But her unusual amber eyes, a trait inherited from her missing mother, still held determination despite the exhaustion weighing on her shoulders. She was wiping down the conference table when the lights blazed on, making her jump. "I didn't realize anyone was still here," a deep voice said. Luna spun to find Ronan Sterling standing in the doorway, his charcoal suit rumpled, his dark hair disheveled from what looked like hours of running his hands through it. The 33-year-old CEO was known throughout the company as brilliant but brutally cold, a man who'd built Orion Industries into a $5 billion aerospace empire through sheer force of will and zero tolerance for failure. "Mr. Sterling," Luna stammered, gripping her cleaning cloth, "I'm sorry, I'll come back later." "No, stay." He waved dismissively, moving to the window where snow swirled against the glass. "I need to think, and your presence won't disturb that." Luna hesitated, then resumed cleaning quietly. She'd seen Ronan from a distance before. Everyone had, but up close he was even more striking. Sharp cheekbones, steel-gray eyes that seemed to calculate equations even in casual conversation, and a presence that filled whatever space he occupied. "What's your name?" he asked suddenly. "Luna Hayes, sir?" Luna, like the moon. Appropriate for someone working in a space technology company, even if you're just cleaning it. The invisibility sure-on casual dismissal of her position stung, but Luna kept her expression neutral. "I actually have a doctorate in astrophysics, Mr. Sterling. This is temporary." His eyebrows rose with genuine surprise. "You're overqualified for janitorial work." Student debt doesn't care about qualifications. Neither do landlords or medical bill collectors. Ronan studied her with new interest, his calculating gaze making her feel simultaneously exposed and seen. "Dr. Hayes, then. Tell me, are you a good actress?" "Excuse me? Can you pretend to be something you're not? Convincingly." He moved closer, and Luna caught the scent of expensive cologne mixed with coffee and exhaustion. "Because I have a problem that requires a very specific solution, and you might be exactly what I need." Luna's pulse quickened. "I don't understand." Ronan pulled out his phone and showed her a photo of an elderly man in a hospital bed, his face gaunt but his eyes still sharp. "This is my grandfather, Augustus Sterling. He founded Orion Industries 60 years ago. He's dying, and his final wish is to see me settled with someone before he goes. Not married necessarily, but in a serious relationship with a real person, not one of the socialites I usually date for appearances." "That's sad, Mr. Sterling, but I don't see what that has to do with me." "My family's Christmas gathering is in 5 days, at our estate in Aspen. I need someone to pretend to be my girlfriend, someone genuine, intelligent, someone my grandfather will believe I could actually love." Ronan's voice carried no emotion, as if he were discussing a business merger. "You would need to be convincing, affectionate when observed, and capable of handling intense scrutiny from people who've been navigating high society politics since they were born." My mouth dried. "You want to hire me to fake a relationship?" "Yes, for 5 days. Christmas Eve through the day after Christmas." Ronan named a figure that made Luna's knees weak. $75,000. Enough to pay off your student loans, cover your father's medical bills that I'm guessing you're struggling with, and fund whatever research you're passionate about. Luna stared at him. $75,000 would change her life completely. She could return to her work on quantum entanglement and consciousness, could stop surviving and start living again. But the whole thing felt wrong, deceptive, dangerous in ways she couldn't articulate. "How do you know about my father's medical bills?" she asked quietly. "I run background checks on all employees. Yours flagged when you started picking up extra shifts." Ronan's expression remained neutral. "I'm not judging you, Dr. Hayes. I'm offering you a solution to a mutual problem. You need money. I need someone my family will believe represents genuine connection rather than calculated networking." "Why me specifically? You could hire an actress, someone experienced in deception." "Because you're real." Ronan moved closer, and Luna felt trapped between him and the conference table. "You have substance, intelligence, authenticity that can't be faked. My grandfather was a professor before he became an entrepreneur. He values knowledge over pedigree. He'll see your doctorate and your genuine nature, and he'll believe I finally found someone worth my time." "What if they discover the truth?" "They won't, because we'll make it believable. Starting tomorrow, you're mine for 5 days." Ronan extended his hand, the gesture simultaneously a business deal and something that felt more intimate. "Do we have an agreement, Dr. Hayes?" Luna looked at his outstretched hand, thinking about her eviction notice, her father's surgical bills, the research gathering dust in her apartment because she couldn't afford lab time. She thought about 5 days of pretending to love a man who terrified and intrigued her in equal measure. She thought about his steel-gray eyes held intelligence that matched her own, and how, despite his cold reputation, he'd noticed her doctorate and called her doctor instead of dismissing her as just a janitor. "We'll need a backstory," Luna said, taking his hand. His grip was warm and firm, sending unexpected electricity through her body. "We'll meet 3 months ago when you were consulting on one of my quantum propulsion projects. I was impressed by your innovative thinking on particle entanglement. We've been seeing each other quietly since then because I value privacy." "You've thought this through." "I always do, Dr. Hayes. That's why this will work." He released her hand but didn't step back. "Meet me here tomorrow at noon. We'll need to go shopping for appropriate clothing, rehearse our cover story, and establish the kind of casual intimacy that makes couples believable. Can you do that?" Luna nodded, her heart racing. "Yes." "Good. And Luna?" Ronan's voice dropped lower, more intimate. "For the next 5 days, when we are in character, you call me Ronan, not Mr. Sterling. We're supposed to be in love, after all." After he left, Luna stood alone in the conference room, wondering what she'd just agreed to, and why Ronan Sterling's proximity had made her feel more alive than she had in months. She didn't know then that this fake relationship would awaken abilities she didn't know she possessed, reveal truths about her missing mother, and transform her understanding of love, reality, and what it meant to be human. But she would learn.
Want to explore it. The real version, not the performance. When Ronan kissed her this time, Luna opened herself fully to the experience. She felt their quantum bond flare bright and certain, felt their consciousness beginning to entangle on levels beyond physical. Colors exploded behind her eyelids, purple and silver and gold, wavelengths of reality she'd never perceived before. And somewhere in the back of her mind, she heard Zara's voice. "He's awakening too. Be ready." Truth and transformation. They spent Christmas morning with Ronan's family, maintaining their cover while hyper-aware of each other in ways that had nothing to do with performance. Luna could sense Ronan's emotions now through their strengthening bond, his genuine affection for his grandfather, his protective instinct toward Astrid, his wariness of his mother's calculating scrutiny. And she could feel something else, his growing desire for her, burning like banked coals waiting to ignite. After lunch, when the family scattered for afternoon activities, Ronan caught Luna's hand. "Come with me. There's something I want to show you." He led her to a private wing of the estate, to a room that had been converted into a personal observatory. A massive telescope pointed toward the sky, and star charts covered the walls. "I built this when I was 16, Ronan explained, locking the door behind them. "Everyone thought I'd follow my father into tech development, but what I really wanted was to understand what's out there, what might be looking back at us." "You've always known somehow," Luna said, moving to examine the detailed maps of distant galaxies. "Some part of you sensed you weren't entirely human." "Yes." Ronan came to stand behind her, his hands settling on her waist. "I'm scared, Ronan, of what we're becoming, of the Helix Collective hunting us, of feeling this much for someone who started as a business arrangement." "Then let's stop lying." Ronan's voice was rough with emotion. "No more fake relationship. No more performance. Luna Hayes, I want you, genuinely, completely, permanently. I want to explore this bond between us, develop our abilities together, figure out what we're meant to do with these gifts. I want you in my life as something real." "The contract. Forget the contract. Keep the money. You earned it for dealing with my impossible family. But stay with me because you want to, not because I'm paying you." His gray eyes had darkened to stormy, and Luna could see silver light beginning to glow around him as his abilities awakened further. "Stay with me because when we're together, we're more than the sum of our parts. Because you're the most brilliant person I've ever met, and I'm terrified of losing you now that I've found you." "Yes," Luna breathed. "Yes to all of it. Ronan, I'm falling for you too, so hard and fast it should terrify me, but instead it feels like the most natural thing in the world." When they came together this time, there was no hesitation, no holding back. Ronan's mouth claimed hers with desperate certainty, while his hands explored her body through the soft cashmere dress she wore. Luna gasped against his lips, feeling heat explode through every nerve ending. "Tell me if I go too fast," Ronan murmured, his lips trailing down her throat. "Tell me if—" "Don't stop," Luna interrupted, her fingers working at the buttons of his shirt. "Ronan, please don't stop." Clothes fell away with urgent need until they stood skin to skin, the late afternoon light painting them both in gold. Ronan lifted Luna, carrying her to the leather sofa beneath the observatory window where stars were beginning to appear in the darkening sky. What followed was transcendent. As their bodies joined, Luna felt their quantum bond surge into full activation. She experienced not just her own pleasure, but echoes of Ronan's sensation, creating a feedback loop that built to overwhelming intensity. Colors beyond human spectrum exploded across her vision. Her skin began to glow with subtle purple luminescence, while silver light emanated from Ronan. And then, their consciousness merged completely. Luna experienced Ronan's memories flooding her awareness, his loneliness growing up different, never quite fitting in despite his success, his father's death that had hardened something in him, the moment he'd first seen her in that conference room and felt recognition he couldn't explain. He felt his fear of vulnerability warring with his desperate need for genuine connection, his protective instinct toward her that went beyond rational thought. In return, Luna experienced Luna's truth, her mother's abandonment that had left questions haunting her entire life, Marcus's systematic dismantling of her confidence, the isolation of being brilliant in ways people couldn't appreciate. The moment she'd looked into Ronan's eyes and seen someone who might actually understand her. When they finally climaxed together, the room filled with light, purple and silver energy swirling together like galaxies being born. Luna heard Zara's voice echo through dimensions. Fully bonded, extraordinary, rare even among celestials. They collapsed together, breathing hard, their bodies slick with sweat, their minds still partially entangled in ways that should have been impossible. "What just happened?" Ronan asked, his voice shaking. "We're fully bonded now," Luna whispered, still seeing the world through overlapping perceptions, her view and his simultaneously. "I can feel you, Ronan, not just physically, but in my consciousness. You're part of me now." And you're part of me. Ronan's arms tightened around her. Luna, I can sense your emotions, see traces of your thoughts. Is this permanent? According to Zara, yes. Quantum bonds don't break. Luna looked up at him, seeing silver light still flickering in his eyes. Are you okay with that? With being permanently connected to me? Ronan's answer was to kiss her again, deep and certain. I've never been more okay with anything. Luna, you're not just in my mind now, you're in my heart. This stopped being about obligation or attraction the moment I really saw you. Now I can't imagine existing without this connection. They lay tangled together as full darkness fell, watching stars appear through the observatory window, both acutely aware they could never go back to what they'd been before. They were transformed, bonded, truly together in ways that transcended human relationship entirely. The door burst open. Astrid stood in the doorway, her eyes wide open with shock. Not at finding them together, but at the purple and silver light that still clung to their skin like stardust. "What are you?" she whispered. "I saw the light from the hallway, and you're both glowing like... Astrid, let me explain," Ronan began, but his sister was backing away, fear and confusion warring on her young face. "You're not human. Oh God, my brother isn't human." Then Marcus Webb appeared behind Astrid, his expression cold with triumph, and Luna realized with sinking horror that they'd been so lost in each other, they'd failed to sense the danger approaching. "Actually," Marcus said, "they're hybrid. They both are. And the Helix Collective is very interested in studying exactly what you two just did in there. That kind of energy signature has never been recorded." As armed operatives poured into the observatory, Luna and Ronan scrambled to dress, their newfound abilities surging in response to threat. They were trapped, exposed, and about to discover whether their bond made them strong enough to fight back. Choosing love and earth. The Sterling family's Christmas dinner was interrupted by the sound of window shattering as Helix Collective operatives rappelled into the great room. Augustus Sterling struggled to stand from his wheelchair while Vera screamed. Astrid ran to Ronan, clinging to her brother despite her shock. "Nobody move," Marcus commanded, flanked by 12 armed operatives wearing tactical gear. His eyes fixed on Luna with cold satisfaction. "Dr. Hayes, Mr. Sterling, you're both coming with us peacefully, or we'll be forced to take you by other means." Luna felt Ronan's fury through their bond, felt his protective instincts flaring dangerously. "You came into my family's home on Christmas, threatened my grandfather, terrified my sister, all to kidnap two people who've done nothing wrong?" "You're not people," Marcus corrected. "You're hybrids with abilities that could revolutionize multiple industries. The Helix Collective has invested billions in understanding celestial genetics. You're research subjects, not citizens with rights." "We're human enough," Luna said, stepping forward, even as operatives raised weapons that hummed with electromagnetic energy designed to disrupt hybrid abilities. "We think, feel, love, we have families, lives, dreams. You can't just take us like property." "Actually, we can. The contracts your employer signed give us jurisdiction over any anomalous biological discoveries related to quantum research. You both work for companies with those agreements." Through their bond, Luna felt Ronan's tactical mind racing, calculating odds and strategies. She also felt something else, Zara's presence approaching rapidly, drawn by the energy signature of their conflict. "Last chance," Marcus said, gesturing to his operatives. "Come quietly, or we'll tranquilize you and take you anyway. Either way, you're leaving us with us tonight." That's when Luna's abilities surged. She'd spent her entire life